Good evening and welcome on back to From Day 1, Part 2. As always, let's grab the mailbag, see what we have since the last time you and I have been together. Decent amount of items. Yay to the key. 403. We'll keep that for later. And that. And result, place 1. Perfect prizes. And the 20 for today's win. As always on part 2, we do have alternate audio for our play. And today we will start. Sometimes I just have to wonder when it comes to First Amendment auditors. Today, we start in the city of Fort Worth, Texas, of all places, with a First Amendment auditor who thinks he should audit, of all places, a homeless shelter in the height of the pandemic. All I can think of is, why? That's where we start, and here we go.
Alright. Alright, let's take a tour?
Not until I screen you. You staying here?
No.
Who are you in?
Me?
Well, if you're not staying here, they won't let you in.
How you doing? Yeah, of course I'm coming.
No, stay.
No. I just want to find out if I could just get a tour.
No, everything past this point's a secured area.
Secured area.
Yeah, I'll get one of the DRC people for you.
Okay.
Now this stupid bloody auditor decided to audit a homeless shelter along with his friend that's known as Carolina in Fort Worth. What is wrong with these two idiots? You want to audit a homeless shelter? You should thank your lucky stars that you are not homeless.
A few moments later.
Are we sure that he isn't?
Pardon?
You cannot be in here. This is a secure site unless you're going to get screened medically. You can't be in here.
Okay, I can get screened and go in?
Stay for the night.
He told me to get screened. The guy that you ain't got.
I need you to get 6 feet away from the
Okay.
woman, please.
All right.
Thank you.
In addition to this idiot mocking everyone who is homeless, he also has a serious problem with that potato can. Why is it shaking so much? Or possibly he is shaking. Could be a long story involved with that.
I don't want to be videotaped. I don't know. Last time I hit the mountain, just stood outside. Are you staying for the evening?
He just told me I could get screened and I could come in.
If you're staying for the evening, we'll screen you and you can come in. Otherwise, you have to go back out.
All right, I'll stay for the evening.
Any cough?
No.
Any travel outside the United States?
No.
And any exposure to anyone known or suspected to have COVID-19?
Now keep in mind, this is a homeless shelter, and the woman just told him that if he's going to be screened, that means he's going to stay for the evening. I can't comprehend let's move on.
All right. Do you have a scan card?
No.
I can see those people in the yellow vests.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, thank you very much.
You have to stay back here, sir.
She just told me to,
Yeah, you can't go there.
she just told me to go over
You can't
here.
go there. The police are coming in. You cannot go back there.
Now the frauditor wants to play stupid. Well, really, he doesn't have to play stupid. He is stupid. But there's no recording in there, sonny boy. Now put your camera away or else face the music.
You just told me to go over here to get your scan card.
I just told you you can't go.
I told her I'm gonna stay tonight.
Yeah, you can stay right here. He doesn't have a scan card. Right.
But she just told me to come over here to get a scan card.
Let the police officer in, please. There is nobody here to do scan cards.
You cannot do it in here today. We're not allowed to do it today. Please get out. Because they don't want it in the public. They don't want you. So it's their right choice to not to be record the face. So please go outside.
How you doing?
Come on here with me, sir.
Come on. Don't touch me. I'll go. Don't get your hands off me.
Go.
I'm going. Just get your freaking hands off me.
Oh my goodness, another frauditor that doesn't like to be touched. Why don't the frauditors like to be touched? Oh, that's right, because they're simpletons.
Go.
What's the issue? I got a 50 book.
The issue, I came in here and
50 book.
I don't have one. I can get a hold of patrol to get one.
and
Okay.
Is this been a regular?
they asked
This is the first day he's got, and he's been out here a lot.
Okay.
they asked
Hey, have a seat for me right there real quick. Okay? Have a seat for me right there.
why am I detained?
Yes, Junior, anytime a police officer tells you to take a seat, they are not finished with you yet. So chill out, take a seat, and wait your turn.
Hey, can you watch him on the
Am I detained?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a seat, okay?
You're being detained. Sit down.
I'm not sitting down.
Yeah, that's his other
Can you
half.
take your wristband off, please?
Why?
Because they just want it back.
Because that's their property, not yours.
It's on my person.
Sir, will you please take the wristband?
Let's be simple, okay? You don't need to make hard things harder, okay?
Olson, badge number.
3308, it's on there.
Thank you.
Hey, but can you just
I came in here.
Yes, we all know why you came here, frauditor. You wanted to harass and provoke people for clicks and views on your channel. Do you desperately need money that badly?
Okay?
I came in here and I asked them. And they told me if I wanted to come in, I had to get in line over here. You got
You
this?
know what this is for?
Yes.
What's it for?
And they asked me if I was going to stay tonight. I said yes. They asked me if I had a scan card. I said no. They said go get in line over here and get a scan card.
Okay. Are you homeless?
I ain't got to answer that.
Okay, this is for people that have nowhere else to stay. So you want to take a spot from somebody that has nowhere else to stay? Just so you can video because you think something nefarious is going on here?
Yes, sir. That's exactly what this idiot wants to do. He wants to expose whatever's going on at the homeless shelter when in fact nothing's going on.
If there isn't, why don't you let us know?
This is an overflow shelter, man. That's all it is. There's no conspiracy going on. Nobody's being forced to stay here.
Show us. So they're trying to keep people away from other people, so we don't need more people. Okay?
Did they find some scissors? Yeah, I have.
Am I still detained?
We're just gonna cut the.
Yes, you're still being.
Oh, fuck off, sir.
Permission to go in and they don't want you to go in, okay? So let him cut it off. Here,
Sir.
don't make it hard, okay? Come on, let's just get it off.
Let go of me.
He's gonna cut your wristband.
Frauditor, why in the world would you want to keep a wristband from a homeless shelter? I think you're fortunate that wristband wasn't replaced with some nice shiny handcuffs.
Hey,
Oh,
hopefully
we
we
would all
can
love to
still
see
have it
that.
happen.
No doubt.
Hand off. You
Let
don't
go.
wanna get cut,
This is
okay?
not your property.
Thank you. All right, now you're free to
Thank
go,
you.
okay? All right?
Free to go, free to stay.
You want him to go?
He's still on Tarrant County
Yeah, so
property.
you gotta go.
You can go to the sidewalk.
You can go to the sidewalk.
This is public property.
Not right now, it's not. This is being released by somebody other than the public.
So this is tyrant property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't think you fucking know what the fuck a tyrant is. If I had pictures, I'd be putting up pictures of, say, Pol Pot, Mussolini, Emperor Hirohito, Adolf Hitler. That idiot over in North Korea who likes to hack anybody who talks bad about him. Those would be people who might be considered tyrants. Not somebody who's running an overflow homeless shelter in the middle of a frickin' pandemic.
Yeah.
You guys go out on the other side of the barricade.
So here we have a couple of frauditors who have no idea what the word.
Hey, I called 2 of your 3. The one he's showing that I forgot was Stalin of Russia.
Tyrant refers to.
But I
They
had the
don't
other 2.
understand their history, nor do they understand contempt.
Hey, now you're putting another one of my guys. Now you put up Kim Jong-un, North Korea. Damn it.
Temporary affairs. Oh, I think they should move. Oh, North Korea would welcome them.
Yeah, to kill them.
Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Right now, nobody has.
Because you're trying to push your way back into a fucking homeless shelter. Just so you can take your potato can.
Well, then keep going. Golly! Right. Don't touch Everybody's got more important things to worry about right now.
Yeah, that's correct, officer. Definitely.
Keep going, he said, to the sidewalk. All the way, okay? Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Keep going.
It's like a sidewalk to me, man. That's a sidewalk right there.
Touch him! Keep going.
All these frauditors have a thing about sidewalks. Well, I tell you one thing, I'd like to see them laying flat on the sidewalk, looking up at the sky, wondering, what just happened?
I don't necessarily on all of them, but this person I'd make an exception. I would agree with you
You
there.
almost made it. Keep going. Off the property.
This is the sidewalk, is it not?
No.
Is this a sidewalk?
No.
You said move to the sidewalk. This
You're
is
not to the sidewalk.
Sidewalk's out here.
I have a gentleman wants to say.
Y'all operating this like a concentration camp.
Look, frauditer,
Dude.
you have.
I'll let you, Dave, in just one moment, but dude, crack open a fucking history book. Auschwitz, Dachau, systematically killing millions and millions of individuals just because they weren't the same color or religion of somebody else. Know your fucking history before you try to throw anything under the bus here. Seriously. Now, Dave, I'm going to ask you to calm yourself because I know and believe one of your relatives was actually there. But would you please lay the smack down on this frauditor's candy ass?
I have no idea what you're talking about right now. My father was in the army in World War II, and he was at Dachau. I have pictures of the atrocities of concentration camps with the Nazis. You have no idea. You just want to run your mouth for clicks and views.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think you have any idea what
I just was releasing his space, and I'm asking you not to be on our property during the duration.
All I want to do was show the good work y'all was doing.
You have a weird way to do it, okay?
What? By coming in and trying to get my badge and stuff get in there?
Okay, you have been trespassed on this property. If you come back on this property, you're subject to arrest. You understand what I'm saying? You're being trespassed.
I want to be trespassed.
Have a good day.
Yeah, that just explains to me something was nefarious going on. Yo, tyrants! Tyrants!
Well, there you have it, folks.
Yeah, I don't think they're tyrants. I think maybe you're a tyrant. But they are most definitely not a tyrant. So, we have another idiot tyrant, this time at a library. What the hell? And say, I could at least partially stomach these idiots when they were fricking handling themselves in the middle of fricking, like, government buildings and the like. But a homeless shelter and now a library. Oh. Dave, what are you trying to do to me? Are you trying to kill me?
Everybody, what's going on?
So, help you?
Yeah.
You
Yeah, we got a report that
You're an idiot.
Notice how this imbecile is fiddling around with his potato can while the police are trying to communicate with him. Well, we're off to a bad start so far, sonny boy. Let's see what happens next.
someone matching your description was
Okay.
acting suspiciously.
suspicious.
Yeah, it's being an idiot.
All right. What was the exact, suspicious nature of the... What was the exact complaint? Because, I mean, suspicious is pretty broad.
Just that's what the report we got, man.
Notice that this idiot is still fiddling around with his potato can. Oh, he wants his live stream to be letter perfect when he gets arrested. And believe me, he will get arrested shortly.
Hey, what did I tell you about spoilers?
I'm not sure. The librarians look like I was watching you guys. So, I think you're talking to maybe a librarian.
What's your name, boss?
What does that have to do with anything?
I'll get your hand out of
It
it.
happens to an officer ask you to fucking identify. That's what.
Frauditor, if you don't want to identify yourself, that's perfectly okay. They're just going to put you under arrest, and then they will identify you when you sit in jail.
Yay.
So we got Favors, Favor.
23, what are you
All right. And what's your name?
Officer Davis, badge number 143.
Davis? Okay. Yeah, I just came in, I mean, to use the library and all that, so. I mean, is it unusual that people use the library?
No, that's not unusual at all, Frauditor. But what's unusual is when someone walks in with a couple of cameras for absolutely no reason. By the way, keep an eye on that officer that just walked in on the right-hand side, because he's not having any of the Frauditor's nonsense.
No,
I mean, we got Miller, 3 cops. All right. Well, nice to meet y'all. Sorry you got called on me.
No, you're not.
What was the exact suspicion? I mean, I
Being an idiot in the first degree?
Around and never been here before.
Okay.
And then I decided on the spot.
Stop. You haven't answered my question. What is your name?
Well, what's the crime? That's what we have to establish.
We have a report of a suspicious person matching you.
All right.
Report of a suspicious person matching the Frauditor. Well, he's going to claim that's not a crime. I know he will. I don't have to watch. I already know what he's going to say. But remember that officer on the right-hand side. Oh, he's going to spring into action any moment now.
Meaning that we have a reason to talk to you.
All right.
And
And
right
how
now
do you...
I'm asking you what your name is. And if you don't provide me with some sort of identification, that is resisting an officer.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So
I'm going to ask you one more time.
How are you going to go above my constitutional protections on this? Because there's no crime.
So that's how we do this. I want to know the next police department.
Officer, is that like sergeant or a...
I love frauditors because they always want to speak to a supervisor who's in charge. They're a little bit like Karens, but not exactly, because Karens want to speak to the manager, where frauditors always want to speak to the supervisor, at least a sergeant, if not a lieutenant or a captain. Interesting how that works, isn't it?
Is there any sergeant
Sir,
or
what is your
lieutenant?
name?
Hold on.
No crime.
Okay. Got called by a suspicious person.
All right.
You're fitting that description, okay?
Yeah.
That's fine with me. You've been reported too. So you're fitting that description.
You guys
okay?
never give me your recording, so I get my own.
Well, it's a public record, so you can get it.
No, every time
So
I've
like I
asked the
said,
cops, they
I'm
never
also
give
from
me
the
their...
police department. They're called by a
videos.
suspicious person. You will mention their identity.
Yeah,
you
the
mention
green...
the closing description.
Green
Where's
sweater.
your name?
You notice how the frauditor can't shut his mouth while the officer talks? That's because what the officer has to say is absolutely not important to the frauditor. He's only there for clicks and views.
There's no crime. Okay. You have it raised. Okay, let me set this down. Alright, a little forceful there.
Yay!
Right. Well, you're not going to get Hey, what about my stuff? You're not? I have constitutional protection. You guys have not.
The frauditor's under arrest, being led out of the library in a set of handcuffs, and all he can think about is his potato camp. Oh, he's got his priorities all screwed up, doesn't he?
Get all this stuff and put it in.
Alrighty.
Just one thing. Don't go through.
Well,
Oh, wait a minute. That's that idiot? I thought he sounded familiar. He's the idiot who wants to go ahead and tell you as a cop, hey, I'll show you my ID if you show me yours. I thought he was a fucking moron. That proves it. Alright, give me just a moment as we continue into Fungin while I find another one. Damn it. Didn't get to fire it off before it ran out. Damn it. Alright, let's go and do a court fail instead.
The case of People in the State of Michigan versus Angela Christensen, file 21-93185FH. We have Ms. Christensen with us by Zoom video. The prosecuting attorney, Mr. Radsvon's present in the courtroom. And Ms. Christensen, at this time, I am providing public access both in the courtroom and online. I want to make sure you're aware of that. So this hearing is broadcast on the court's YouTube channel. And Ms. Christensen, we're here for an arraignment, which is for me to advise you of the charges and set forth sort of a scheduling order for the time frame of the case. I notice that you are not represented by an attorney. Is that by your choosing?
I would like to, I'm going to come in as a woman under common law in the nature of this matter, and I would like to require at least 90 days so I can file proper claims.
Oh boy, here we go. I'd like to come in under common law. So it begins.
And don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
No! What did I tell you about those doggies?
Okay,
and I
so
can come back
first,
with an answer.
okay, so Ms. Christensen, you want to represent yourself and not be represented by a lawyer? Is that, am I understanding that right then?
Yes. I feel that my rights are constitutionally not being upheld, and I don't see the reasoning that is a good reason for me opening my mouth to look at prison time, because that's freedom of speech.
Oh boy, does she need an attorney?
Yeah, she definitely needs an
It gets worse
attorney.
as we go, but she doesn't feel that their rights are being upheld, and she's completely wrong. They're absolutely being upheld right now. He's trying to determine whether or not to appoint counsel to you, which is one of your primary rights. That's the first thing to do. So she just jumps to this conclusion that her rights aren't being upheld, which is completely wrong.
Okay. Well, the law requires me to go through just Mr. Radsvon, do you know? Well, I guess I should probably do it on the record. Ms. Christensen, the law requires that I go through. Now you've got two constitutional rights that are flip sides of the same coin. You've got the right to the assistance of a lawyer if you want. You also have the right to represent yourself under the Constitution. So, of course, you can't exercise both of those at the same time. So
Right,
when
so I would
people... Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead,
I
liar.
would like to establish jurisdiction under common law in the court.
Okay, well let's just do one thing at a time. So I first want to...
This guy, I've seen some other stuff from his calls. I haven't done a video yet, and it's not. I think he's a really good judge, but he's so straight laced and by the book, and that's good. That's what you want out of a judge, and he knows his stuff. but it's less entertaining. but that's okay. That's what you want sitting on the bench.
Assess that constitutional right either to have a lawyer represent yourself, and if you're choosing to represent yourself, the law requires that I just make sure you know some things about that so I can be assured that that's a knowing and free will decision that you're making. Okay, so bear with me.
This is interesting to me. He says you have a right to an attorney or a right to represent yourself, and yeah, that's true. As far as it goes, but she's said enough right now. If I have any defense attorneys here, tell me in the comments below. She said enough right now that it seems to me it would almost trigger a FREDA inquiry to see if she understands the charge.
By the way, for those who don't know, a FREDA inquiry is basically where they inquire to make sure, A, you know the law, you know that you could basically put a competent defense up. If not, they would force either a standby counsel or a full legal attorney appointment.
Charges against her and can mount a defense. Am I just off base? Because I don't do criminal defense, but I'm seeing that a lot in these videos. And I'm wondering if he's just choosing not to do that, or if we haven't ticked off some magic thing that would require that yet.
Okay.
I first have to advise you of the charge against you and any maximum penalties that you could face. You're charged with resisting or obstructing the police officer, and that is a felony crime. It's punishable by up to 2 years in prison and or a $2,000 fine. Do you understand the charge and the maximum penalty that it carries with it?
I only understand common law.
So that would be another reason to have an attorney.
Okay.
I do know the constitutional right. I don't feel that I should get 2 years in prison or even have. I just want the stuff discharged so I can just go about my day because I already know there's I got notes right here.
Oh boy. She just wants the case discharged. Dismissed is the term you're looking for. The judge tells her that in a second. So if you don't even know the word for what you're looking for, it's a good sign you need an attorney.
There's more than one that is violated, and honestly, I don't even want to be bothering people. I don't even want to file claims. I don't want to be doing any of it.
You have no claims to file, and what you're doing is basically a threat to a judge. It's a horrible idea. He's not
horrible.
taking you to task for it because it is so hollow that there is no threat to anybody. But it is a horrible, horrible way to proceed.
It's not to anybody. I feel if there's no verified claims against me of me hurting or harming anybody. I've written apology letters. Nobody sent me an itemized bill or anything.
This is just crazy. What she's saying here. First of all, she starts this. She keeps saying, "I feel." It's not about your feelings. I don't believe the law cares about I feel. Somebody has charged you with committing a crime. There are elements to that a crime, and if they can prove them, you'll be guilty. Your feelings are not part of the proceedings here.
Seek remedy, and then just take care of this matter. I think this is a waste of time to me.
Okay, well, right now I don't know anything about the case, so it's entirely possible that I would agree with you. I have no idea,
Okay.
But we have to follow a process, right? And that process is to protect both guilty people and innocent people who are accused of things in our system. So I just have to go through some things with that process with you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
So I just want to make sure that you understand the charge that you're facing, and it sounds like you do.
I like that. She thinks she's
that's
winning.
Interesting too. She says thank you as if this is some victory. He is doing exactly what he is supposed to do and would do for anybody. She hasn't talked him into something. It wasn't like he was running over her rights, but she came in with some soft set magic, and now he's changed courses. This is what he does every time.
And I also need to advise you that there are some risks in representing yourself.
Yeah, there are risks.
And that is that there are certain rules of procedure in courts, rules of evidence, and what the court can consider and what the court cannot consider. An attorney has been through a course of study on what those rules are, and most people representing themselves have not. So you do have the constitutional right to represent yourself. I just want to make sure you understand that there are some risks according to that, and you would be required to follow the rules just like anybody else would. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. I also have to make sure that your decision to represent yourself is unequivocal, meaning that it's not just that sometimes people have an attorney and they were unhappy with that attorney and they say, well, I want to represent myself, but it's not really that they want to represent themselves, it's that they just want a different lawyer. So can you explain to me then, are you choosing to represent your own interests in this case without any attorney at all?
I'm coming in under common law as a woman, and I'd like to establish jurisdiction under common law for we the people.
Right, but would you like to do that on your own?
Yes, I want to pursue this on my own. I do have some more evidence that I'm gathering up for my claims, but if there is no injured party, I feel that if everybody would just, I don't know, I think it just needs to be discharged.
Okay,
I don't want to get anybody's job on the line.
Yeah, we're back to your feelings again. You know, I think that when anybody charges me with a crime, I just rather it be over. Well, you and everybody who's ever been charged with a crime in the history of the world. But that's not how it works.
And I really don't want to even do that.
Okay, you keep wanting to jump to the end of the story, discharging or dismissing the case. There's 3 ways that can happen, okay? One is the prosecutor can dismiss a charge anytime they want. The prosecutor has the constitutional authority of charging discretion, so they decide what charges to bring or to dismiss. Or 2, if you file a motion for me to consider dismissing the case and explain why I should, then I would hear from both sides, and I have the power to rule on those motions, and I could dismiss it on a motion. Or 3, if it goes forward to a trial, either in front of me or in front of a jury of your peers, and they decide that you're not guilty of it. All right, but what I can't do today is just because you tell me something verbally, I can't say, oh, okay, and dismiss a case. That's just not how the process is going to work. Okay. So I will give you that time you said to file some claims. Okay? So, but we're getting there. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to find, based upon what you said, that you are your desire to represent yourself is unequivocal, and it is knowingly and understandingly made. So I am going to allow you to proceed representing yourself in this matter. I have advised you of the charge against you. Have you received a copy of that, of the charges against you?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you wish to plead to that charge? Guilty or not guilty, or stand mute?
Not guilty.
Hallelujah. I will give her credit for all the subsets that I've watched. She did 2 things that well. She unequivocally said, I do want to represent myself. It's a horrible idea and just a poor decision on every front. But she at least said it. She answered the question. And she just pled not guilty, which is what she wants to do right now. That's not only the right thing to do in her circumstance. It's what she wanted to do, and she's not playing word games with it. She just entered that plea.
All right, a not guilty plea is entered on your behalf. And
can I possibly require at least 90 days so I can gather the rest of my information?
No. The word you're looking for is request, but we get the point.
If that's okay. And I can do my motions also.
Well, we usually don't set them out 90 days to start with.
Oh boy, I want to see those motions if they're done. Actually, I really hope, and this is actually possible. She's got 60 days. Who knows? She might see this video, or somebody who knows her might see this video. Please, for the love of God, contact an attorney or go to that or on that date. Ask that they appoint the public defender for you. You've got some obstruction charge with an officer. It could be pled to nothing, probably. I don't know the underlying circumstances, but it's something that you can probably work with. Or if you want to make some sort of grand defense because you really shouldn't have been charged, great. But an attorney's going to do it a lot better than you. I feel for this woman because she could at least answer 2 questions. I have more empathy for her. Do not put your liberty on the line over trying to represent yourself here, because you're doing a horrible job, with the exception of actually answering 2 questions.
We usually set them out, anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. Mr. Radzivan, any objection to a request for 90 days at the start of this case?
I think that's too long, Judge.
Okay.
I'm certainly okay with setting it out.
All right. Ms. Christensen, what I'll do is the next thing that happens in my court is called a docket call, and that is a pretrial hearing for people to file any motions. If there is any pleas, they can be entered at that time. And I'll schedule this for that docket call on Monday, December 20th. That gives you 60 days.
Okay, that's fair.
And we'll schedule that at 9 a.m.
I'm glad you think it's fair, dear.
And we handle those matters in person here in the courtroom. Where is Melvin, Michigan? How far out is that?
Like 4.5 hours away.
Oh, okay. Mr. Radzavan, any objection to that docket call being over Zoom?
No.
Okay, so Ms. Christensen, I'm going to allow you to appear by video Zoom if you wish for that as well.
Okay.
If you file some motions and you want, to argue them in person, you are absolutely welcome to be here in person in the courtroom. We're just going to allow you to appear by video for your own convenience if you wish. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Mr. Radzavan, are the people requesting any forensic center referral or no?
No.
Okay. And estimated length of trial?
I think 1 day.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Christensen, you're going to continue to represent yourself in this matter for now. At any time, if you want to have the assistance of an attorney, you may hire an attorney of your own choosing, or you can ask the court for an attorney at public expense, and then I'd have to review whether you're eligible for that. And we're going to schedule this for a docket call conference on December 20th at 9 a.m. You can appear by Zoom if you wish, or in person. If you want me to rule on any claims that you're going to file, you have to file them in writing beforehand.
Yeah.
And you have to also include with them something called a notice of hearing.
Yep, I
telling
did put
myself. Okay. All right. And then I'll hear any claims you want to file on that date and time. Okay.
I can't imagine any valid claims she would have to file at this point, but I don't know the facts. So maybe there are. I just literally cannot think of any. But if she's got in her mind, and she might, given this offset nonsense she's saying, that she's going to start filing liens and stuff on other people, she could really turn something that could probably be pled as a misdemeanor or beaten, for that matter, into a major problem. If she's filing bills of lading on the judge or whatever Ronnie Davis concoction that's out there, or she's looking at the stuff from Rick Martin or that crowd, she's really running the risk of turning something very simple to resolve into a major problem with additional charges.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. You have a good day.
Alrighty. Well, Mike, I hate to tell you this, but I actually have one for you. Let me grab my files here. No, not that one, not that one. Let me get another fight going while I find it for him. What I actually have is I have her second appearance. Of her returning to court. If I can, I had it saved, but I'm going to say if I can find it, then I'll play it for you, and we can talk about it. We're actually doing decent on our fights here, so we'll keep those up. Alright, maybe it's up here in my file list. Ah, there it is. I knew I had the file. All right. At least I think this is the right file. No, is it? Alright, I think this might be. There she is. Okay. There she is. Are you ready, Mike? Get you mute while you're talking to your people. Just make sure you're ready. There she is, loading into Zoom Court.
Yeah, I'm getting the holiday spirit.
Good morning, Miss Christensen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I, woman Angela, can hear you, Aaron. Good morning.
Alright,
This might be her.
Angela.
And,
It is her.
we are up next from page 2.
I'm not sure.
It's People
I'm
of City,
sure.
Michigan versus
You're
Angela
fine.
Marie Christensen. It's file number 21-93185FH. We do have Miss Christensen with us by Zoom video this morning. The prosecuting attorney, Mr. Radzaband, is with us in the courtroom. And Ms. Christensen, I do want to remind you that we are providing public access both in the courtroom and also online. And today is the date that I had scheduled for what's called a docket call.
Is this her? Somebody tell me.
Yes, I told you it's her. Now shush and listen.
And you had said at the arraignment that you wanted to represent yourself. So I'm required at every hearing after that. I'm sorry, you froze. Can you hear me still?
It's almost as if I would have looked up her name
Sir,
before
can you
this.
please only refer me to me as an I, woman, or Angela, and not a you?
What?
Well, that would be improper grammar. So I'm not going to use improper grammar. I'm calling you
Good answer, Your Honor.
when I'm addressing you as a second person. But the
I don't want to be referred to as you. Can you just call me my first name, please?
sure, I can avoid pronouns if that would please you. I can just refer to Angela as Angela rather than using the personal pronoun, which the English grammar does allow to use.
I'm really starting to like this guy.
So,
oh my God.
Can I refer to Angela as Miss Christensen?
Just Angela.
Okay. I generally prefer a little more formality than that, but that's fine, Angela. So, Angela, at the last hearing, you said you wanted to represent yourself, and I went through a process.
Call me you again.
Well, I'm going to do that because that's just how I learned English. So that's proper English. There's nothing wrong with it. So that's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
So
good answer, Your Honor.
Every time we have court, I have to go through that process again, not in full, but I'm required to just double check a couple things.
Oh, Lord.
Right? So, do you understand that that by representing yourself, you are at somewhat of a disadvantage of not knowing or being trained in all of the court rules and processes of court?
No, I don't understand legalese. I only understand natural law.
Good. Then we can kick you off of
That's my point. So in this courtroom, there's a lot of legalese that happens. And so without a lawyer,
Right, but
you don't have somebody translate
I'm just a woman, so the only person I believe that has jurisdiction over that would be me as a woman.
Oh, Lord.
Because the government and the court's created by the man, and the God's the creator, so that's where I'm going with that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you're wrong.
This is, I just want to double check. You still want to represent yourself?
I am going to represent myself. Yes, I'm going to represent myself.
Okay. Now
Stubborn.
I need to tell you one thing about that. The court rules require that I make sure that your request is unequivocal. I find that it is, and that it is a knowing and voluntary choice, and I find that it is. The court rules also require that I find that you representing yourself would not be a disruption to the court proceedings. So, Ms. Christensen, I guess I'm just going to tell you, you seem to want to do court your way, and if you insist on doing that, I'm not going to let you represent yourself, because we got to do court the way the law says, not the way
I am
the
allowed to self-govern myself as a woman.
No.
Okay. So
I stand on my
we'll-
paperwork.
Should make it Blandino'd.
We'll see how that goes. So you
We
had
can
said
hope.
that you were going to file some claims or motions. I was handed this morning some 4 handwritten documents dated December 17th.
Oh boy.
Oh
Are
boy.
those the motions and claims that you had intended to file?
Is there an affidavit of truth
I
in
can
there?
file those, yes. I had them put in there, and then depending on today is, I guess, if I have to file claims or not, which I really don't want to have to do.
Okay.
Oh,
these,
she's got more?
Did you provide a copy of these documents to the prosecutor?
Yes, I had them taken in, and the lady took them over to the prosecutor, and then he was supposed to get one, and you were supposed to receive one.
Okay. And so, Mr. Radsvon, did you receive a copy of those documents?
I received some documents.
Okay. And now, Ms. Christensen, the court rules do require a certain time frame for those to be filed before the hearing date, so that both sides have a fair chance to review them. And yours were filed just on Friday, today being Monday. That's not enough notice in the court rules. So what I'm going to do now is ask the prosecutor whether he waives that notice requirement and would agree to have your issues heard today, or whether he doesn't want to waive that.
It's Angela's issues.
That's a rule that benefits both you and the prosecution, so that neither side can just wait till the last minute and sandbag you. All right? So, Mr. Radsabon, do the people wish to waive notice, or do you wish me to reschedule this? Okay. So, Ms. Christensen, what we're going to have to do, the prosecutor is not waiving the notice requirement, and so I'm going to have to schedule the next date to hear your. These are entitled notice. So I guess first let me ask you. So, Ms. Christensen, these notices that you
I need to see
filed
these documents.
So do I, Mike.
I did read them, and sometimes they do ask for some kind of relief or some kind of explanation. They're titled notices. Do you want me to rule upon these, make a decision on these notices as if they're motions asking for some relief for you?
I would like my notices and to be able to stand on my paperwork and just discharge this whole scenario.
Yeah.
I would like
Oh,
to
we're back to the you want to discharge it all.
business, and you don't have to go and keep coming back and forth to court and all that.
All right. Well, Ms. Christensen, I think what you and I need to have right now is a little law talk. So let me
Law
just
talk with Mike.
explain something.
Hey, no plugging your show unless I get to plug mine on yours.
I'm not a defendant, though. I'm not a defendant.
Oh, you sure are.
Yes, you are, dear.
Every man in court and every woman in court, I'm sure, would like to have their case dismissed. That's not how it works. So the people of the state of Michigan, through their elected representatives, have established this court. They've established the prosecuting attorney's office. The people of Presque Isle County have elected the prosecutor, and the people of Presque Isle County have elected me and given us both with the authority to handle these claims. And you're accused by the people through their representative, the prosecutor, that you committed a crime against the people of the state of Michigan. So there's only 3 ways that the case will end. One is we'll schedule it for a trial, either in front of a jury of your peers or in front of me as the judge. Or number 2, you could reach an agreement with the prosecuting attorney, some kind of plea bargain or plea-based resolution, and that happens in a great deal of cases.
No.
Or number 3, I do have the authority to dismiss charges, dismiss cases, but only on a properly filed motion that sets forth legal and factual grounds to do so.
I'm guessing that's not what she
dismiss the case
filed.
just because
No,
you feel that it should
Mike,
be or
it
you would
isn't.
like it to be. If what you have filed provides a legal or a factual basis to dismiss the case, well, then I'll do so, right? But we have to hear those motions in the proper course of things. So do you understand those three processes for how we get to the case being resolved?
I understand just the way that I'm doing things. If I need to, I can file more paperwork and send it in if I have to.
Yeah, and
As
also
far
not
as
give
legal
notice.
stuff, I don't understand any legalese
And we can just keep
whatsoever.
going.
Okay,
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. So wherever you've got all the advice that you're getting for saying, I, Angela, common law, using colons after everything, whoever gave you that advice, I just want to tell you, Miss Christensen, as a person, that person, whoever told you those things, they're not going to serve your jail sentence if you're convicted and go to jail. It's going to be you, or I, or whatever you want to call yourself. And so really, I would encourage you to not listen to any sovereign citizen type of advice because it just doesn't work.
Your Honor, you're calling it on the nod.
I'll hear 'em. You know, and if you present a legal or factual basis to dismiss the case, I'll do that. But if you don't, I'm not going to. And it'll be scheduled for a trial, and if you're convicted, it's not going to be whoever gave you that advice that stands before me for sentencing. It's going to be I, woman, Angela Christensen. And she's the one that's going to go to jail. And so it'd be a shame if that happened just because you're getting some bad advice from the internet or a seminar or wherever you got it from. All right, so at this point, I haven't ruled on your motion, so I'm going to continue to indulge you in representing yourself. But if you haven't been very disruptive, you know, but if your arguments become too disruptive, I'll just appoint an attorney, which frankly, I mean, probably should do. You would really be served if an attorney would review all this stuff with you and represent your interests. Are you sure you don't want me to appoint you an attorney at this point?
I do not want an attorney.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Radsvon, any objection to continuing the docket call to the January date then to hear these motions?
Judge, I guess I have to raise the issue.
Okay.
This is unusual.
Well,
Dude, speak up for all of us.
What I've heard is sort of some of this sovereign citizen nonsense that's out there. There's plenty of people who believe it who are in fact competent. I'm not sure. I don't have sufficient information at this time to raise a question about Mr. Christensen's competency per se. More that she's just gotten some very bad advice.
Yep, that's spot on.
You got it,
She's
Your Honor.
competent. She's got bad ideas.
You know, not a very sophisticated man. So I think at this point, I'll take that under advisement, Mr. Radsvon. We'll hear her motions in January and see how it goes. So far, she's not being too disruptive. If that changes, you know, I might change my approach. But Ms. Christensen, what I'm going to do is just that we make sure we're communicating clearly and you file these motions or notices to be heard. I'm going to continue this then to January 10th at 10:30 in the morning. And because you've got some issues you want me to rule upon, I think it might be helpful to have you here in person. Your audio has glitched just a couple times.
Unfortunately, I can't accept that and be in person. I can only do the Zoom.
Why is that?
Because she's an
It
idiot.
would be a burden to me.
Where do you live at?
Like 4 hours from there. I live in my person actually wherever I sleep at night.
It's the price of bad legal advice.
Well, don't we all? But where do you commonly do that? About 4 hours from now? From here? Okay. Well, I mean, it not being an evidentiary motion, Mr. Radsvon, an objection to Zoom appearance?
No, Judge.
Okay. All right, Ms. Christensen, I'm going to allow you to appear for that hearing by Zoom as well. I'm doing that as a convenience and an accommodation for you. So as long as you're kind of So far, you're conducting yourself in a fairly respectful way, and as long as that continues, I'll accommodate you in those regards. Okay. So we'll see you next on January 10th at 10:30 in the morning, where we will hear your the notices that you have filed. If there's anything else you want me to rule on that day, you do have to provide notice to the prosecutor at least, is it 7 days or 9 days, Mr. Edsman? Mr. Edsman, do you prefer 7 days? Is it 7 days notice in the court rule or not?
Well, 9 by mail.
9 by mail. Yeah, so if you're mailing it, you'd have to mail it 9 days before the January 10th hearing. Okay, but the ones you've already filed, those are all set. We'll hear argument on those on January 10th, and I'll rule on them at that time.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll set aside a little extra time for that. Anything further from the people?
No, Judge.
Ms. Christensen, anything further from you today?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, have a good Christmas, and we'll see you on January 10th.
And Mikey, guess what I got? I actually have the January 10th one as well. Alright, let me find it. Hopefully I can find that one a lot quicker than the other one. That one was only 12 days ago. Okay, I think this might be it here. It might not be, but oh. Yay, we've earned a 20. That means we've earned a Slayer. Let's earn another one. No, that isn't the one. It's not the particular. There we go. We got the nice little blade again. Got enough energy to do it a few more times. If I can't find it, I'll have to let you go, Mike, and then my hour will be just about up. But if I do find it, we will go a little bit into overtime. Is this it? No, I don't think that is. I think that's the one we just had. Let me check it again real quick. Yeah, that's the same one we just had. Okay. Okay, so we need to go. Yeah, could use a few of those too, so that's not terrible. And we're also picking up some cash finally, which we need. There she is. I knew I had her in the file. I just had to find her in the file list. Alright, let me bring her in.
Can you guys hear me? I just slapped this together.
Yeah, I know
I'm in
you
my
always
office in
slap
the
things.
city.
Relax, Mike. There she is. No, that ain't her. Sorry.
All right, good morning, Ms. Christensen. Can you
Oh,
hear
yeah,
me?
it is, sir. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Good morning. We are back on the record in the 53rd Circuit Court for the County of Presqu'île. Our next case on the docket is People of the State of Michigan versus Angela Marie Christensen. It's file 21-93185FH. We have Ms. Christensen attending by Zoom, representing herself, and the prosecuting attorney, Mr. Radzaban, is here in the courtroom. We are providing public access both in the courtroom and online. And Ms. Christensen, although you're appearing from your home, for convenience sake, it might not feel like a court hearing, but it is a court hearing, so I'm going to ask you to please remove your hat.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Okay, thank you. All right. So,
how about the mask?
And the mask too. What's the point? You're at home.
Just like last time, I'm required each time to remind you that you do have the right to the assistance of a lawyer if you wish. And that includes the right to a lawyer at public expense if you were indigent, and that you previously waived that right and wish to represent yourself. And so I guess I want to ask you again, do you reaffirm that you'd like to represent yourself in this matter, or would you like to have a lawyer?
No, I would like to self-govern, and I stand on my paperwork.
Oh, God.
So,
like Ernie.
What we have today, you did file 4 written notices that asked for some type of relief, and we had adjourned the hearing to today for any argument on that. So the prosecutor has had a chance to review them. So, Ms. Christensen, you say that you stand by the paperwork, and that's fine. I do have the paperwork in front of me. Is there any argument that you'd want to make on your behalf right now to me in support of those claims, or do you wish to just rely on the written pleadings you filed?
It is my wish to stand on my paperwork.
Okay. Mr. Radzaban, do the people have any argument in opposition to those 4 notices?
Your Honor, I reviewed the paperwork, and I guess you may not recognize the honor of the state of the law. I don't believe that there's any relief that is recognized under the law that would allow you to dismiss this case against her based on what she's alleged in the paper.
Okay. All right. Well, Ms. Christensen, now I'm going to make a ruling on the notices, which I'm construing as some motion or request for relief. And I've got a written order that I'll enter. I'll read it at this point. Defendant, who at this point in the case is representing herself, has filed 4 handwritten notices. These notices appear to seek relief in one form or another. As to the first notice, defendant asserts that she is a woman and not a defendant. The court finds that Angela Christensen is both a woman and a defendant in this criminal action. To the extent her notice seeks relief, such relief is denied.
He is so straight. I mean, like, it's very logical and reasonable what he's doing, but how he does it with a straight face, I don't know.
As to the second notice,
Number
defendant
2.
demands that any man or woman with a claim against her appear and present such claim in open court. To the extent that this notice seeks to invoke defendant's right to confront her accusers, this court will enforce that right. However, the right of confrontation does not require the complaining witnesses to appear at all pretrial hearings, but only the trial or any necessary evidentiary hearing. So to the extent that this notice seeks to require the appearance of any complaining witnesses at all pretrial hearings, such relief is denied.
Strike 2.
As to the third notice, defendant asserts that this court lacks authority over her and that only her creator has that authority.
Of course.
Without gainsaying the authority of the creator, it can be noted that religious traditions commonly recognize that the creator has instituted human authority as well. In this matter, the people of the state of Michigan, through ratifying the 1963 state constitution, as well as its predecessor constitutions, have established this court and its authority.
Hold on, I have to give the judge, I'm going to stop just a second, Mike. I have to give the judge credit. Judge actually went to pull a biblical quote. If you do look at the Bible does state that God supposedly does set up men and their particular forms of government, and therefore you are to be with that government because it was set up by God.
The people of the state of Michigan, through their elected representatives, have established laws that apply in this court. And the people of this county have elected this judge to serve in this office. And this court has subject matter over this felony prosecution and has personal jurisdiction over this defendant. Any relief sought by this notice is denied.
Strike 3.
As to the fourth notice, defendant claims that this court and the government exist only because she allows them to exist. To the extent that this assertion reiterates the proposition that our constitutional republic is founded on the consent of the governed, such proposition is axiomatic as a general matter. However, this proposition does not require that the government must obtain consent or permission from each individual person before exerting governmental authority over the person.
Thank God she finally took off her mask.
Is nonsense, and would result not in a constitutional republic, but in anarchy.
Absolutely.
This defendant's views would render all the criminal laws null and void, which is legally and practically absurd. Therefore, any relief sought by this notice is also denied.
Strike 4.
Thank you, Judge Goff
So,
here.
Ms. Christensen, all of the claims and papers that you have filed, I have found to be lacking in legal and factual merit, and I have denied any such relief. And I'm entering a
That's fine. Can you please stop referring to me as a defendant? And I guess the next step will be, I guess I got to do the actual filing of the claims if you're going to deny all of those.
No, I don't know what claims you're talking about. You filed some claims or notices or requests.
No, I did not even file my claims yet. I did notices. I did not file my claims yet. I've been putting that off because I really don't want to have to file claims and ruin people's lives and ruin their...
You're going to ruin your own life and make your case a lot worse. But
yes, Mike, she is.
You know, what you filed so far has been denied.
Jobs because they're not upholding my constitutional rights as a woman, not a defendant. I am a woman only. I, woman Angela. I, woman Angela. I, woman Angela. That's it.
Did you hear the judge's ruling? He said you're a woman and a defendant, which was hilariously specific, but he actually made a ruling on this point.
Not defendant.
Yes, defendant.
Well, you are.
Your opinion and legalese, yes, but I am a woman. So do we need to do trial by jury when we...
Yes, in his opinion, which happens to be relevant here as he's the judge overseeing the case.
Can do my claims and file my court with your court at the same time? Because that's going to be my next step, to file claims against everybody involved in this case. Because there is no verified claim, and complaints and claims are two different things. I don't want to file claims. I'm trying very hard, and I've been trying hard to not do that.
No, you haven't.
But I guess if we got to keep going, that's my next step. And I will file proper claims with the proper people and the insurancing for the bonding. So I don't know what you want to do at this point, and I really don't want to have to do that.
Ms. Christian, I got to tell you, I don't know what in the heck you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're talking nonsense. So here's the thing. I am not going to relinquish my authority in this case. I'm not. All right? The prosecutor's office can dismiss the case. They're choosing not to. So that means we do have to go forward to a jury trial unless you want to plead guilty. All right? But what I'm also going to do is your ramblings here today and at previous hearings, and after I reviewed your written notices, it's clear to me that you have no concept of the legal and factual issues at stake.
Here it comes, Mike.
I would never know anything about legalese.
Here it comes, Mike.
I'm able to do that legalese, so I don't understand.
Here it comes.
All right, you're illustrating my next point, and you have no respect for the authority of the court. You continue to interrupt me and such, and file these nonsense claims. So I am hereby withdrawing my consent for you to represent yourself. I'm referring this matter to the Office of Assigned Counsel for appointment.
Yep.
So any papers you file in this case, I will reject because they have to be filed.
Well, I don't accept that offer, and I do not require you to give me any court-appointed attorney, and
you don't need to accept it. You just got Blandino'd, and you earned it.
I was going to say, there is no accepting here. You just had it happen.
I don't want an attorney. I don't do legalese. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful.
Yes, you are.
Well, you're doing it by, accident then.
I stand in my paperwork, and I'll do the rest of my paperwork. I will keep doing it, and now I'm going to file my claims, so that's fine.
And they won't be accepted because the judge just
No,
ordered
I
that.
don't need no legal counsel. I refuse that offer. I do not accept that offer. I'm sorry. With all due respect to you.
No,
I
no,
don't
there's
accept
no
that.
due respect here. You're being an asshole.
Well, Ms. Christensen, it wasn't an offer.
Say it wasn't an offer.
We are scheduling this next for a docket call on February 14th at 10:30 in the morning. And I'll refer it to the Office of Assigned Counsel for you to have an attorney at that hearing. You are no longer allowed to represent yourself in this matter, and you will be in person in my courtroom at that date and time.
I'm sorry, but I cannot be there. I can do it via Zoom, and I don't accept that offer either unless you want to compensate me for my gas and my time. Because I can't do that. I can't even afford to. Sorry.
Ms. Christensen, it's not an offer. I want to have you here because you've expressed such disregard for the proceedings. I want to have you here so you can hear attorney. Ms. Christensen, stop interrupting me. It's not an offer. You will be here, or I will issue a warrant for your arrest if you refuse to attend in person. All right. We'll see you February 14th, or I'll issue a warrant for your arrest. You have a good day.
Please issue the warrant.
All right, we will be in recess until 11 a.m.
Please issue the warrant. We want a warrant. We really, 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 really want a warrant. But, Mike, I'm going to have to let you go as my show has run long for this episode and I need to let my folks go. Have a great day with the rest of your show. Alright, for us, we are going to wrap it here for part 2. We will come on back for part 3 in the overnight. Please be around for us for that. Till then, of course, as always, do make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe to go ahead and get us those goals of both boxing extras of 5,000 views of our videos and 1,000 subscribers for Google. So both of those will send us items so we can send them to you, the lovely watchers of this program. As always, Coinbase information below. Fill it out to get your free crypto and those Coinbase Learn Art lessons to get yourself up to another $100 in free crypto to use here in Dominion. Until we do meet for the new Midnight in the Desert in the overnight, it's always a great new world to release the Krakens. Remember, Lunar New Year and the 3 new lunar skins coming on Monday. Till then, please come on back for the overnight from day 1.